जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजना। यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजना। यमुना तीरावनचारी। यमुना तीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजना। यमुना तीरावनचारी। यमुना तीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। जय कृष्ण रुक्मिणी जय सत्यभामा। कृष्ण रुक्मिणी जय सत्यभामा। जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय। गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय। जय विश्वगुरु शील प्रभुपदा। विश्वगुरु शील प्रभुपदा। जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद इस डिवाइन ग्रेस विश्व गुरु श्री भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय विष्णुपाद परमंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद इस डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्भागवतम की जय। श्री श्री कृष्ण रुक्मिणी सत्यभामा की जय। श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय। विश्वगुरु शील प्रभुपाद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 26, Fundamental Principles of Material Nature, verse number 40. Dyotanam Pachanam Panam Dyotam Pachanam Panam Dyotanam Pachanam Panam Adanam Hima Mardanam Adanam Himamardhanam Adanam Himamardhanam Tejasaha Vrittayaha Tu Yetaha Tejaso Vrittayastvetaha Tejaso Vrittayastvetaha Shoshanam Kshot Trid Eva Cha Shoshanam Kshutrudeva Cha Shoshanam Kshutrudeva Cha Dyotanam Pachanam Panam Adanam Himamardhanam Tejaso Vrittayastvetaha Shoshanam Kshutrudeva Cha Dyotanam Pachanam Panam Adanam Himamardhanam Tejaso Vrittayastvetaha Shoshanam Kshutrudeva Cha
Yotanam Pachanam Panam Adanam Himamardhanam Tejesho Vrittayastu Yetaha Shoshanam Sutradat Evacha
Dyotanam Pachanam Panam Adanam Himamardhanam Tejaso Vrittayastvetaha Shoshanam Shutrad Evacha.
शोषणं कृतत्रेव एव च
द्योतनं पचनं पानं अदनं हिममर्दनं तेजसो वृत्तयस्त्वेताः शोषणं क्षुत्रद् एव च
Dyotanam illumination. Pachanam cooking, digesting. Panam drinking. Adanam eating. Himamardhanam destroying cold. Tejasaha of fire. Vrittayaha functions. Tu indeed. Etaha these. Shoshanam, evaporating. Kshut, hunger. Trit, thirst. Eva, also. Cha, and. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Fire is appreciated by its light and by its ability to cook, to digest, to destroy cold, to evaporate, and to give rise to hunger, thirst, eating, and drinking. Kindly repeat. Fire is appreciated by its light and by its ability to cook, to digest, to destroy cold, to evaporate, and to give rise to hunger, thirst, eating, and drinking. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The first symptoms of fire are distribution of light and heat, and the existence of fire is also perceived in the stomach. Without fire, we cannot digest what we eat. Without digestion, there is no hunger and thirst or power to eat and drink. When there is insufficient hunger and thirst, it is understood that there is a shortage of fire within the stomach, and the Ayurvedic treatment is performed in connection with the fire element, Agni Mandhyam. Since fire is increased by the secretion of bile, the treatment is to increase bile secretion. The Ayurvedic treatment thus corroborates the statements in Srimad-Bhagavatam. The characteristic of fire in subduing the influence of cold is known to everyone. Severe cold can always be counteracted by fire. Dasa in the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mokam Karoti Vachalam Yate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Mande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. When Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was residing in Jagannath Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was patronized by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was the chief priest, chief scholar in the assembly of King Prataparudra. Initially, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was a wrangling scholar, jnani, but by association with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he also became a devotee. Later, when all the devotees of Mahaprabhu from Navadvip, they visited Jagannath Puri. At that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu introduced all his devotees to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. There were many devotees who had come from Navadvip, so he was introducing each of them one by one. One of the people that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu introduced to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was a devotee called Vasudeva Datta. This Vasudeva Datta, when he was called by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to introduce to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he came forward, immediately offered his obeisances, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started glorifying him, that he is such a wonderful devotee, he is a great devotee, all those kind of things. So Vasudeva Datta, like all other devotees, he was very humble, and he was feeling very embarrassed. Mahaprabhu is glorifying me. Then Vasudeva Datta prayed to Mahaprabhu. He said, Mahaprabhu, I have got one request of you. So Mahaprabhu said, yes, please tell me what you want. Normally, we all go to God, and then what do we ask? We want money, we want marks, we want good health, we want so many things, right? Good job, etc., blah, blah, blah. So Vasudeva Datta had a unique prayer, unique request to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Normally, we all say, "Go, oh God, please solve all my problems." Right? Everybody goes to temple, why? Breaks 108 coconuts, why? Some problem has to be solved, that's why. Now Vasudeva Datta, he prayed to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that Mahaprabhu, when I look at all the conditioned souls in the world around me, in this universe, they are all suffering due to material miseries, birth, death, disease, old age. These things are troubling them no end. Not only that, the tapatraya, the three kinds of miseries, adhyatmika klesha, adibhautika klesha, adidaivika klesha, miseries arising out of our own body and mind, miseries arising out of other living entities, miseries arising out of supernatural causes, natural calamities, natural arrangements. So all these miseries are constantly harassing all the conditioned souls in the material world. So when I look at that, I feel very distressed. And so therefore, I am praying to you, Mahaprabhu, that you transfer all the sinful reactions of all the living entities in this entire universe. You put it on my head and let me suffer in hell forever, no problem. But you please deliver them. You take them back to the spiritual world. This was Vasudeva Datta's prayer. Unlike common people who go to God and pray that please take away all my problem, Vasudeva Datta is praying, all people's problems you give it to me. And you liberate all the souls and take them back to Godhead. You are all powerful, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Can you please do this? So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this, he was very pleased. And he said, Vasudeva Datta, this kind of prayer which you have made, nobody will make this prayer. It is only you who can pray. Why? Because you are Sakshat Prahlad. Because even Prahlad Maharaj also, when Narasimha asked Prahlad Maharaj, after vanquishing Hiranyakashipu, he asked Prahlad Maharaj, you ask some benediction from me. I want to give you some Ashirvada. So ask something from me. So he said, Prahlad Maharaj said, Soche tato vimukha chetasa. So he said, Twadvirya gayana mahamrita magna chittaha. I am constantly absorbed in remembering your holy name and your activities. Therefore, I don't have any distress or any problem to be solved which I have to come to you and ask for some Ashirvad. Not required. Because I am fully in bliss, chanting your holy name, your pastimes, etc. But I have a distress. What is that distress? Soche tato vimukha chetasa. All these living entities, conditioned living entities in the material world, they have turned away from you. And because of that, they are suffering, and seeing their suffering, I am becoming distressed. So this was Prahlad Maharaj's prayer. So Prabhupada says Vaishnava means Paradukha Dukhi. In the material world, everyone is Paradukha Sukhi. You know, some known person goes into distress, we will be happy. See, he has gone into problem, good. Now he is my competitor, now he is in loss. That is good for me, my profit will increase. Indigo has gone into loss, immediately SpiceJet and all others are celebrating. That's the way the material world is. Paradukha Sukhi. But Prahlad Maharaj is a Vaishnava like Prahlad Maharaj. They are Paradukha Dukhi. When they see others suffering, they become distressed. So similarly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Vasudeva Datta, you are exactly like Prahlad Maharaj. And therefore, you are praying like this, because you are Paradukha Dukhi. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, but you are a pure devotee, you are a Vaishnava, and therefore, you don't have to take the sins of all the living entities of this universe upon your head and suffer for it. Not required. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Krishna has said in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam brajaham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayisyami ma shuchaha. Anybody surrenders unto Krishna, Krishna will immediately destroy all his sinful reactions. So for Krishna to destroy all the sinful reactions of the living entities in this universe is not a big deal. For him, it's not a big task. So for that, he doesn't have to transfer all their sins onto your head. He can, as it is, destroy. Simply because you have desired, you have wished that all the souls in this universe, they should be liberated from the distressful condition, Krishna will fulfill your request. He doesn't have to transfer the sinful reactions to your head. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that suppose this whole entire universe is liberated, all the living entities go back to Godhead, and this universe becomes empty, Krishna is not going to lose anything. Why? Because if you look at the causal ocean, the Viraja, the river, the Karana Udaka, there are koti, millions of universes floating in that Karana Udaka, in that causal ocean. So out of that, if one universe becomes empty, what is the loss for Krishna? Because every universe is filled with living entities. So one universe becomes empty, what is the loss for Krishna? Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then further went and said, suppose all the universes become empty. There are no conditioned living entities in the material world. Material world becomes empty, useless. Then also Krishna is not bothered. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave a humorous example to explain this. He said to Vasudeva Datta that Koti Kamadhenu Pati. Suppose there is a person who has a Koti Kamadhenu. Kamadhenu means wish-fulfilling cow. You go to the cow and ask anything, it will give. Normally you go to a normal cow, what will you get from the cow? You can get milk. You cannot get anything else. But Kamadhenu, a wish-fulfilling cow, is such that you go and ask the cow anything. You want jackfruit, it will give you jackfruit. You want gold, it will give you gold. Not only milk, it will give you anything you ask. So suppose we bring one cow here and say this is a Kamadhenu. What will happen? The whole world, all armies will come and surround. They will say, we want to take this cow and go, isn't it? Just like it happened with Kartavirya Arjuna and Parashurama, Parashurama's father, Jamadagni. So you see, just to get that Kamadhenu cow, there was so much bloodshed that happened. So now, if you look at this similarly, suppose somebody has one Kamadhenu cow, then he can get any opulence in the world. He will surpass the richest man in the world, because how much ever gold he wants, how much ever money he wants, whatever he wants, he can get from that Kamadhenu cow. That is just one Kamadhenu cow. Suppose somebody has 1 crore Kamadhenu cows with him, then what kind of opulence that man will enjoy? Koti Kamadhena Patir Chagi Yaichem Mare. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, suppose there is a guy who has got 1 crore Kamadhenu cows, and in his stable, in his farm, suppose one she-goat dies. Chagi means a she-goat. So he has got 1 crore Kamadhenus, 1 she-goat died. Yaiche Mare, if that 1 she-goat dies, what has that man lost? He has not lost anything, because he has got 1 crore Kamadhenus. 1 she-goat died, it makes no difference to him at all. So similarly, Shadaishwarya Patir Krishnera Maya Kiba Kare. So similarly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Krishna is the master of all the 6 opulences. Shad Aishwarya, name, fame, beauty, strength, knowledge, renunciation. Krishna is the master of all 6 opulences. So he is self-sufficient. And Maya Kiba Kare. And suppose all the material world becomes liberated, becomes empty of living entities, what is Krishna losing? Because Krishna's opulence is not coming from the material world. He is already Shadaishwarya Purna. So, therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, for Krishna, all these universes put together also has no value for Krishna. So the point is that Krishna is the master of millions and millions of universes, Koti Brahmanda. They are all emanating from Krishna. They are all created by Krishna. So in the Brahma Samhita also, Lord Brahma prays to Krishna. One of the things he prays is, ekopyasau rachayitum ekopyasi rachayitum, to create, rachayitum, to create this entire material universe. Ekopi, even though Krishna is one person, he is creating crores of universes. Shri Krishna Rukmani Satyabhama ki jai. Ekopyasau rachayitum jagadanda kotim. Jagadanda means the universe is shaped like an egg. Egg means it is an ellipse, it's not exactly spherical. So jagadanda kotim, koti universes Krishna is creating. Rachayitum, jagadanda kotim rachayitum. To create these crores, millions and millions of universes, how is Krishna doing it? So Krishna is one person, he is from his body. Many millions of universes are coming out. So does that mean Krishna is losing something? A portion of him is lost in making the universe. Is that how he is creating? Jagadanda kotim rachayitum. But that's not the way Krishna creates. Chayeva yasya shaktir. So when Krishna creates all the innumerable universes, ekopyasi, Krishna remains as he is. Then how does he create so many universes? That is a matter which even great jnanis fail to understand. Because they are not able to explain how from Krishna so many millions of universes are emanating, but still Krishna remains as he is. How is it possible? Suppose I take one piece of paper and cut it into 4 pieces. Where is the original paper? Original paper is gone. That original paper, from that these 4 pieces of paper have come. So the original paper is gone. So from Krishna, if crores of millions of universes are coming, then Krishna gets reduced by that much, no? But no. The Vaishnava Acharyas have explained how it is possible. So in the Brahma Samhita also, Lord Brahma prays, ekopyasau rachayitum jagadanda kotim yachaktiresha. The energy, the Shakti of Krishna transforms into the universes. Krishna doesn't transform. His energies create the millions of universes. So, because the millions of universes are created by the energies of Krishna, ekopyasau, Krishna remains as he is. He doesn't have to undergo transformation. And not only that, Krishna creates these millions of universes by his different energies. Andantarastha paramanu chayantarastham. Krishna enters into each and every universe and into each and every atom. But Krishna doesn't undergo transformation. This is his Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. This is the supremacy of the Supreme Lord. So many millions of universes are coming from Krishna. Out of that, we are situated in one particular universe, this Brahmanda. And the Brahmanda, the universe in which we are situated in right now, is considered to be one of the smallest universes. That is why the Brahma of our universe has only 4 heads. That means it's a very small universe. There are universes where Brahma has 100 heads, 1000 heads, 10,000 heads, because the universe is so big. And the small universe, the smallest of the universes, where Chaturmukha Brahma, where we are residing, is 4 billion miles in diameter. This is the description given in the Vedic scriptures. If you ask modern science, they will not be able to tell. They will say, up to certain number of light years, we know the extent of the universe. Beyond that, what is there, we don't know. This is what modern scientists say. They don't know. What is the extent of the universe, we don't know. Up to one extent, we know something is there. Beyond that, what is there, we don't know. And if you ask them how this universe has come into existence, that also they don't know. They'll come up with many fancy theories that there was nothing and suddenly there was a bang. For nothing to create a bang, something must have been there, no? What was that nothing that was there which created that bang? Their own logic, there is a big fallacy. And you see, they say that there is a Big Bang theory and there was a bang, and then, because of the bang, there was a concentration of mass, and that is how the universe came into existence. Okay, for a second, let us assume. Let us keep aside all common sense, logic, everything, let us keep aside and assume that what they are saying is right. Because it's against all common sense. Have you seen any explosion? Let us say one terrorist comes and keeps a bomb, and the bomb explodes, and everything comes together and a nice building gets constructed. Possible? Hey, it doesn't happen. You come and keep a bomb in a building, the building will get demolished. That much only will happen. Right? Nothing will come together and get created by an explosion. So that's the kind of illogical reasoning that the scientists are giving. But because there is no other explanation, everybody else is lapping it up. Anyway, let us keep aside our common sense and logic and assume what they are saying is right. There was an explosion, all the mass came together, universe was formed. Okay, you can say that much is okay. But you see, there are so many elements in this material universe. Krishna primarily, he distinguishes 8 elements which comprise this universe. Bhumi, Rapo, Analo, Vayu, Kam, Mano, Buddhirevacha, Ahankara, iti emme, Binna, Prakriti, Ashtadha. Ashtadha, there are 8 separated energies of Krishna which constitute this universe. What are they? Earth, water, fire, air, mind, intelligence, space, and false ego. These are the 8 elements which comprise this material world. So, if you take the entire universe, everything, you can reduce it to one of these, to a combination of one or more of these 8 elements. There is nothing other than this. Out of which, Bhumi, Rapo, Analaha. Anala means fire or Agni. And today's verse, Kapila Deva is speaking about the functions of that fire. So let us take that one element, fire. What are the functions of fire? Dyotanam, illumination. Suppose at night it becomes dark. Let us say power goes out. And today is an Amavasya, it becomes pitch dark. What will you do? You'll run and get a candle and a matchbox and you'll light it. Immediately the room will get filled with light. You see, illumination happens because of fire. Even for that matter, even electricity also, it is another form of fire. And whenever you want illumination, what do? You switch on the light. You need electricity, which is another form of fire. So one of the functions of fire is what? Illumination, Dyotanam. Another function of fire, Pachanam, cooking and digesting. If you want to cook anything, without fire it is not possible. Either you need LPG, or you need firewood, or you need electricity. Without that, can you cook? Not possible. You see? Have you ever thought about this? Cooking is impossible without fire. You see, modern science, if you ask what are the characteristics of fire, they will not tell you one of the characteristics of fire is to cook. They will not tell you. They'll give some other characteristic. But you see how the Vedic scriptures are very precisely giving what are the functions of water, what are the functions of air, what are the functions of fire. So one of the other function of fire is Pachanam, cooking, as well as digesting. Even within the stomach, there is something known as Jaఠaragni. Jaఠara means stomach, Agni means fire. Ayurveda says there are 4 kinds of Jaఠaragni. So if the Jaఠaragni is affected, then digestion will get upset. If the digestion has to be proper, the Jaఠaragni has to be proper. So if somebody has digestive problem, you go to Ayurveda, they will treat you for Agni Mandya. Manda means to become very subdued. Agni Mandya means Agni has become subdued. That's why you are not able to digest. That's what Ayurveda will tell. And they will enhance that Agni within the fire by increasing the Pitta. That's how Ayurveda treats digestive issues. So even for digestion, fire is required. And according to modern science, it's hydrochloric acid within the stomach which is doing all the digestion. Acid is another form of fire. So, Pachanam, cooking and digesting is another function of fire. Then the third function of fire, Panam, drinking. How is drinking associated with fire? Because when there is fire in the stomach, when it is strong, you will feel thirsty. You will want to drink. So naturally you will go and drink. Suppose the fire in the stomach is not working properly, you will not feel thirsty. You will not feel like drinking water. You see? So drinking water is another function of fire. And adhanam, eating. Eating also, you will eat only when you are hungry. If you are not hungry, how will you eat? So that hunger is coming from what? Which is explained later. Kshutrid evacha. In the last of this verse it says, hunger and thirst, they are coming from fire. If the fire in the stomach is not working, the person will not have hunger. He will not have appetite. So, Dyotanam, Bachanam, Panam, Madanam, Himamardhanam. Destroying cold, that is another function of fire. All of you, many of you have come from Vrindavan, right? Vrindavan, Delhi, now it will be cold. And when you are going on the road, you will see, especially in the morning and the evenings, you will see 2-3 people will be sitting. They will put some firewood, some paper and all that, light it, and they will be sitting around that. And they will be warming themselves, right? Why? Because it is cold. So if you want to destroy cold, what do you need? You need fire. Himamardhanam. That's the function of fire, to destroy cold. And then, Tejaso vrittayaha. These are the functions of fire. Etaha shoshanam. And evaporation. How can we forget evaporation? There is this huge ocean here, isn't it? And the sun evaporates that water, and then that water again is given as rain. And the water in the ocean we cannot drink. But the water which is evaporated by the sun and given back as rain, that you can drink. You see how the arrangement of the universe is. And the sun is able to evaporate because of the heat from the sun. Why is the sun giving so much heat? Because of the fire on the sun. So fire causes evaporation also. So fire is illuminating. It has the ability to cook, to digest, to destroy cold, to evaporate, and to give rise to hunger, thirst, eating and drinking. These are the functions of fire. One element, fire, has got so many functions. You can imagine, one element, fire, which is one small portion of this universe. And this universe is what? It is one small universe amongst millions of universes. So the point is that the scientists may say that, okay, there was an explosion and suddenly the mass came together. But how do you explain these functions of fire? How did fire come into existence in the first place? Something which gives out light by which you are able to see. Suppose there was no fire, what would you have seen? You could not have seen anything, no. Suppose there was no fire in this universe, no sun, no fire. Then all of us would be blind. Although we have eyes, we cannot see anything. But you see, whatever we are able to see today, we are able to appreciate objects. We are able to appreciate forms of objects. How? Because of the existence of fire in this material world. So where did fire come from? And where did fire get this quality? Where did fire get this quality to be able to illuminate? To give us eyesight. Our power of eyesight is useless without fire. Do you understand? So where did this fire come from? With this function, with this ability to illuminate and to give warmth. How did fire get this property? So if you ask the scientists, they will have no answer. It is like this, you have to accept it, that's all. They will analyze fire nicely, what is happening, there is combustion happening and oxygen is getting consumed, all that they will tell. But where did fire get that innate ability to illuminate and to give warmth? And this is, and unfailingly, every time you light a fire, it will do this. It will give you light and it will give you warmth. Have you ever experienced in the cold, you're going and lighting a fire in the room, and suddenly the fire, when you lit the fire, the room became dark? Will you ever experience? Not possible. You lit a fire in the room became very cold. Not possible, no. So where did fire get this unfailing property to be able to illuminate and to be able to destroy cold? Not only that, also the ability to digest, the ability to evaporate. Where did fire get all these qualities from? That the scientists cannot explain. Scientists will ask a question, can you show me God? You can see God. You are having the power of eyesight because there is fire, and the fire has got that illuminating capacity. Suppose there was no fire in this world, what would you have seen? Your power of eyesight becomes useless. So this, the scientist doesn't, the atheist doesn't comprehend. He is not able to understand. You see how it is. So Krishna is the master of the millions of universes. Out of the millions of universes, ours is the smallest universe. In that universe, there are 8 elements. Out of the 8 elements, 1 element is fire. And that fire has got so many functions, so many properties, characteristics. See how? And then you can imagine what all this universe comprises. What all is there in this universe. So this is the Achintya Shakti of Krishna. That is why the Brahma Samhita says that Ekopyasau Rachayitum Jagadanda Kotim Yachaktiresha. So that Shakti of Krishna has inconceivable power to create all these things. And so therefore, when we study the material world, material energy like this, we can appreciate the greatness of Krishna. There is a saying, God is great. In the Western world, there is a saying, God is great. If you ask, how is He great? They will have no answer. If you want to know how God is great, how great God is, if you want to know, you have to come to the Vedic scriptures. And so you see, the Srimad-Bhagavatam is meant to describe the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srimad-Bhagavatam is nothing but description of Krishna. There is nothing other than description of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, the Bhagavatam is described in the characteristics of fire. What is the connection between spirituality and fire? Fire is a material element. I am studying Bhagavatam to understand my relationship with Krishna and to develop my spiritual life. And Bhagavatam is talking, these are the functions of fire. Functions of fire, Dhyotanam, Bachanam, Panam, Madanam, Himamardhanam. Arey, what is this? I came to learn about Krishna, you are talking about fire. Yes, you have to learn about this material world because Yachaktiresha, this entire material universe is coming out of the energy of Krishna. So if you have to know Krishna in full, you have to know Krishna's energies also. Krishna says in the 55th verse of the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataha tato mam tattvato jnatva vishate tadanantaram. Vishate tadanantaram. You can enter the spiritual world. Tato mam tattvato jnatva. By knowing Krishna in truth. Without knowing in truth the entire truth about Krishna, without understanding the entire truth about Krishna, it is not possible to enter the spiritual world. So how to know Krishna in truth? Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataha. In truth, if you want to understand Krishna, then it's possible only by devotional service. So when we engage in devotional service to Krishna, when we understand Krishna in tattva, in truth, what does it mean? We have to understand Krishna is the Supreme Person and He has got multiple energies. Krishna is not alone. He is there along with His energies. Shaktiman is there, always there along with His Shaktis. And so therefore, Krishna said that Bhumirapo analo vayu kham mano buddhirevacha ahankaram iti yamme bhinna prakritir ashtadha. This material universe comprising earth, water, fire, air, ether and mind, intelligence and false ego is his bhinna prakriti. Is his separated energy, his inferior energy. And his inferior energy is so incredible. One small element in that separated energy of Krishna, Agni, has got so many functions, so many characteristics, inconceivable characteristics. Nobody can figure out. Because Agni, fire, is coming from Krishna, it is the separated energy of Krishna, therefore it is able to perform such wonderful functions, which nobody can create something which can mimic the characteristics of fire. Not possible. Characteristics of air, characteristics of water. You cannot create a duplicate fire mixing some elements. No. Fire as an element is coming from Krishna's separated energy, and that nobody can again recreate. You can manipulate fire and use it in different ways. That is possible. But you cannot create another fire of your own. Not possible. Fire as an element is already existing. So therefore, when we have to understand Krishna, if we have to go back to Godhead, if our goal in life is to advance spiritually and get out of this cycle of birth, death, disease within this material world and go back to the spiritual world, then the only way is to understand Krishna in full. And if we have to understand Krishna in full, we have to understand his material energy also. Krishna is there, Krishna's Antaranga Shakti is there, his internal energy or superior energy is there, his marginal energy is there, Tatastha Shakti is there, and his Bahiranga Shakti is there. His external energy or inferior energy is there. We have to understand all three. Then only we will understand Krishna in Tattva. And unless we understand Krishna Tattvataha, we cannot go back to Godhead. Vishate tadanantaram. Tato mam tattvato jnatva vishate tadanantaram. If you want to gain entry into the spiritual world, it is possible only when you know Krishna in truth. And understanding Krishna in truth means we have to understand his material energy also. And that is why in the Bhagavatam, Parikshit Maharaj began by questioning Shukadeva Goswami, Mriyamanasya, of a person who is about to die, what is the highest duty for him? To which Shukadeva Goswami replied, the highest duty of a person who is about to die is to hear about Krishna. And to hear about Krishna, Shukadeva Goswami said that, and he should have immediately started describing the 10th chapter of the Srimad-Bhagavatam, because 10th chapter of the Bhagavatam is where all the Leelas of Krishna are described. No. Before he came to the 10th canto, Shukadeva Goswami was narrating 9 other cantos. And out of that, we are looking at the 3rd canto. In the 3rd canto, Shukadeva Goswami is describing Gyotanam, Pachanam, Panam, Adanam, Himamardanam, Tejaso, Vrittayas, Tvetaha, Shoshanam, Kshutridevacha. He is describing the functions of fire. In the previous verses, we have seen the functions of air. Next, we will see, next verse, there will be water, then earth. All these elements, one by one, Shukadeva Goswami is describing. So Shukadeva Goswami was the one who told Parikshit Maharaj, your highest duty now, because Mriyamana, you are going to die in 7 days. So your highest duty is to hear only about Krishna, nothing else. And he is talking, these are the characteristics of fire. So how is he talking about Krishna? Because understanding, knowing about Krishna means you have to understand his energy also, his external energy also. Not just Rasa Panchadhyaya we study, that alone is not Krishna. Krishna has innumerable, infinite aspects. We have to understand everything in truth, then only we can enter into the spiritual world. And so therefore, his Kapila Muni's explanation of the material energy of material nature, fundamental principles of material nature, describing the functions of fire are also important for us to understand. So that is also required for us to understand. Then only we will be able to understand Krishna in truth. Otherwise, our understanding of Krishna will remain partial. It will not be complete understanding of Krishna. And as long as we have incomplete understanding of Krishna, we cannot enter the spiritual world. Therefore, understanding the material aspect of Krishna is essential. And for a devotee, when he sees fire, when he sees water, when he sees earth, he doesn't see water, fire, air, earth, all these things. He sees Krishna. He sees Krishna's energy. Sthavara jangama dekhe, na dekhe taramurti. So a pure devotee, when he sees any animate or inanimate entity, if he sees a piece of stone or he sees an animal running around or a tree or a plant, whatever he sees, he will not see their forms, external forms. He will see Krishna and Krishna's energies acting. And when one is able to see Krishna everywhere, then one becomes eligible to go back to Godhead. So how to see Krishna everywhere? That is when we understand that all these elements that are there, which comprise the material universe, they're all energies of Krishna. So when we see a fire, When we see a bulb glowing, immediately we can make it, oh, look at Krishna's energy. Immediately we can remember Krishna. You drink water, oh, this taste of water is coming from Krishna. It is Krishna. So like this, when you look at a stone, this is an energy of Krishna. Krishna says, Bhumirapo analo vayu kham mano buddhirevacha. Immediately you can remember. So in this way, you get trained up to see Krishna everywhere. When we see any object, we see Krishna when we see Krishna's energy. That is the way to be. And when a person develops this kind of vision, then he becomes Jivan Mukta. He becomes liberated even within the material world. He is no more living in the material world, he is living in the spiritual world. So these are some of the things we have to understand, and that is how it is important to understand the properties and the characteristics of earth, water, fire, air. Although these are gross elements, we need to understand these things, and by understanding this, we will be able to appreciate the glorious powers of Krishna. And by that, we will be able to understand how great Krishna is. So it is necessary to know God, and we have to know how great He is also. That is, then we are knowing Krishna in truth, God in truth. Then we become eligible to go back to the spiritual world. So I'll stop here. If anybody has any question or comment, we can discuss. Yes, please. Can you please use the mic? Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Although mind, intelligence, ego, they are all in certain form, can we say they are dark energy of this material universe?
They are?
Can we say mind, intelligence, they exist in subtle form? Can we say it is dark energy of this material?
Dark energy.
Tamas.
Tamasic energy. If you look at the descriptions given in the Bhagavatam, we have seen in the earlier chapters also, the mind is produced from Sattva-guna, and the intelligence is produced from the passion, from the Rajoguna. So we cannot see, in one sense, we cannot say that it is the tamasic, this one. At the same time, this entire material universe is Jadavastu. It is inanimate matter. In that sense, it is full of ignorance. So in that sense, you can call it is tamasic. But if you look at it from the perspective of Rajoguna, Sattva-guna and Tamaguna, it's different. You understand? So it's a combination of these three modes, Rajoguna, Sattva-guna and Tamaguna, which are actually bringing about the creation, and the combination of all these 8 elements in different proportions to create the different manifestations that we see in the material world. So it's a combination of all three in that sense. But otherwise, in a broader sense, from a spiritual perspective, this whole entire material universe is a tamasic creation, in the sense that it is filled with ignorance about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whereas the spiritual world, every living entity is fully aware of Krishna there. So that is why the Upanishads also say, Tamasima Jyotirgama. Do not remain in ignorance, go towards enlightenment. Meaning, understand Krishna, Tatoman Tatvato Jnatva, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, we have to understand Krishna in truth. So in that sense, yes, it is tamasic. But if you look at it from the perspective of the 3 modes of material nature, Rajoguna, Sattva-guna and Tamaguna, it is not only Tamaguna, it is a combination of all 3 which is functional. Is that okay? Any other question or comment? So we'll stop here. Grantharaj Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai, Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.